The one message that I can give out there to everyone who is watching today, there's hope. Okay, someone is scrolling on social media. They're looking for hope. And I know that, one of my mentors shared with me, he says, you have to share your story and be vulnerable, raw, and real. Go on Facebook Live and tell your story. So guess what I did? I shared my story 2 years ago and it went viral.
Wow.
People are looking for hope. They're scrolling just like I did. When I first got on social media 11 years ago, I was looking for hope. I was looking for an outlet.
Serious subject any day of the year, 365, 24/7. Domestic violence, domestic abuse. It happens so much, and a lot of it doesn't get talked about or reported, and some people are afraid to come forward and talk about it. That is today's subject, and to get us going on that is an expert in this field, Angeline Constantinou. And I said, yeah. I got it. I did it live. I got it right.
You got it right. Yes, you did.
That's cool. No laughing matter, though. You have a domestic violence story that I haven't heard yet, to be honest. And I kind of didn't want to research it because I wanted to be intrigued live. Welcome to the show, Angeline.
Thank you, Chris. And it's a pleasure and honor to be on your show today.
Can you tell us your story, your domestic violence story, how you know specific details, I suppose, but just how you got out of it, how you finally decided, and what made you stay in it for as long as you might have?
Well, I stayed in it for too long, but let me just share with the audience today. And I want to thank you again, Chris, for having me on your podcast, The Bo Knows Show. So 11 years ago, I was in a very bad place. I was almost bankrupt. I had lost my corporate job. I had lost my sense of self-worth and dignity and confidence because I was physically abused, verbally abused, financially abused. Monies were taken away from me. There was a time when he wrote balance transfer checks against our credit cards so he could buy mutual funds. Yeah. So I found myself $50,000 in the hole.
Wow.
And prior to that, in December of 1999, I thought I married the person who was going to be the love of my life. And we got married in 1989. So in Rhinebeck, New York. And it was like a private wedding, just for the family only. But in 1999 in December, fast forward to that,
right,
I was lying in bed with my robe on, and an argument had ensued. It's for no reason, literally for no reason at all. He was badgering me. He was humiliating me, just really, really verbally abusive. And I was crying. I was literally crying. So what I decided to do was I decided to get up from bed. I said, I just can't sleep here tonight. I have to go into the other room. We had bought a 2-story cape in 1987. So, because we wanted to be away from New York City. Because my ex-husband had a business. He had an advertising business. I worked in the business. We were making 6-figure income, and people thought that we were the Hollywood couple. So, but it didn't pan out that way. So I got up, started to walk into the other room. I didn't make it into the other room. He took me by the neck and he threw me against the wall near the bathroom, and I fell backwards. And I was bleeding. I felt something crack. And I just feel very grateful to be alive, because I thought that night that I was going to die. I had black and blue all over my face. and my nose was broken. So ironically, he took me to the emergency room. He got himself together. He carried me down the stairs, and he took me to the emergency room at Northern Dutchess Hospital in Rhinebeck, New York. So I was in the emergency room all night, and this happened I would say, like right before midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I was literally like, I was on IV, and I had to stay in the emergency room until 5 o'clock in the morning. So the doctor came out, the surgeon came out, and he said, "You are going to need reconstructive nose surgery."
Ouch.
So 3 days later, I was back in the hospital. And it was at St. Benedictine Hospital. And I had to be kept overnight because they OD'd on Demerol. So, to try to, because when I woke up from surgery, I was in pain. So they gave me Demerol, but then I didn't have a very good reaction to it. So I ended up staying all night in the at the hospital, and I was released in the morning. So how I endured that, I don't know, but I endured that. But then I thought that he was going to change. I thought that things would get better. So this was a vicious cycle, meaning things would be good for 2 to 3 weeks, and then something else would happen.
Mm.
Then another cycle happened. And, at that time, and then what I decided to do was in 2007 was to work in corporate America. It took me 7 years to figure this out, but I finally figured it out. I said, I'm going to go out to work in corporate America and make a name for myself. I am going to make a name for myself and, surround myself with, good people who are going to support me, because I was actually contemplating filing for divorce, but I didn't have the money to do it. I was scared. I was afraid. And this is, not common when a woman is going through domestic violence, or even a man too. So it's not uncommon that you're feeling afraid, because all of a sudden now you're going to be on your own, and how are you going to support yourself? And, but I worked in corporate America. He became more jealous, more resentful. He started writing letters to the New York State Police and the sheriff's office, literally humiliating me. And I found out, and guess how I found out? So in 2010, I was getting ready to go to Long Island to spend some time with family, with my first cousin, and an epiphany happened. I woke up and I decided that I was going to file for divorce. And my first cousin, who was very encouraging and supportive, thank goodness for, a supportive, family.
Right.
She says, you deserve a better life. And then I thought it over. I said, you know what? I do deserve a better life. So a friend of mine had recommended an attorney down in Poughkeepsie. And I drove to the office, and I met with her, and I wrote out a check for $5,000. Now I'm really in the hole at this point, because, he financially, our savings, we lost over $100,000 in savings because the stock market plummeted in 2008. So we lost more money, and here I'm trying to keep the marriage together. But I said, you know what, this is not working, and he's not changing. He's becoming more jealous, more resentful, more combative, more abusive. And this is verbal abuse. This is, I called the police many times. The police knew exactly where I was going, because I filed a protective order as well, right before I left for Long Island. So I wrote out a check to my attorney for $5,000. I go to family court that morning and filed a protective order, and then I took off. And spent time with family, and I had nothing. I mean, I just felt, but on the other hand, I felt relieved that I did it. But it's a process.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's a process.
Wow.
Amazing. And when did the idea of turning this experience into a coaching business such as you have now, and that must have evolved from, you know, from the time you decided to break free and get divorced, that must have encouraged you to say, hey, this is happening to me, and I'm sure it's happening to other women as well, other people. And is that what motivated you? It's because it's an amazing story.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So what motivated me was when COVID-19 happened, when the pandemic happened,
Right.
I was still working in corporate America. And, I made good money. I made, good money. I'm able, to live by myself and to support myself, which is a huge blessing. That's one thing I realized, that that I'm a very strong woman and I can, empower women. I've always had that passion for empowering women. So I started the podcast in early January of this year.
What is the name of your podcast?
Let's Break the Silence with Angeline.
And that's a great title.
Thank you.
And I got to think that you have a lot of viewers, listeners, downloads, right?
Yes, I do. Oh, awesome. I have a story to tell you.
Tell me the story. Go ahead.
I just was looking at the stats of my podcast. We are in 6 countries. My podcast is on Spotify, Google, Apple. So we are now in 6 countries, and my following has increased 150%.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's very, very awesome. And do you have guests?
I do have guests, yes.
Okay.
So my podcast, I have guests who have gone through domestic abuse.
Okay.
They have gone through domestic abuse and are now entrepreneurs. They're either coaches or podcasters, or women entrepreneurs who have their own business. And I remember back in 2011, I decided to join a health and wellness company that I was super passionate about. That's what really got me to a new level, because I had a mentors, and I surrounded myself with people who are on a higher level to get me in that higher vibration, so I could be able to deal with, the BS of the divorce, because there's a lot of nasty things that happen during a divorce. And my goal was to break free. So I made a trip up here to Saratoga Springs, because I've always, loved the area. I love the culture. And back in the day, we used to travel here. So I decided to make a trip up here. I looked around. I liked it. I didn't have the funding at the time to move. So I made a plan of action. So my plan was to, 1 year from now, move to Saratoga Springs and make a clean break. And that's exactly what happened.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah. 1 year later, don't ask me how I did it. So I did it because I did a lot of mindset work. I bought courses. I did a lot of personal development, and I've invested a lot of money in myself. And during that time, I was almost broke, but I didn't have that mindset of being broke.
No.
Yeah.
Even if you have no money, if you have, not a lot of money, and if you think, you don't think that way, because that's a mindset, right?
Correct. Exactly.
Think and Grow Rich. That was a book.
Oh, I love, Napoleon Hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mindset. Oh, yeah. So enjoy the journey,
Thank you.
Go right up there.
Go right up.
I didn't research it too much because I wanted to kind of be curious about you and your background. Are you an author, or do you plan to be?
I plan to be an author, and also I've lined up my first speaking event next year in Chicago. So I'm really super excited about that. So so podcasting, I'm launching a new campaign in January for my coaching program. So I offer one-on-one coaching, And I also offer, this is going to be launched, 6-week group coaching.
6 weeks. Okay.
6 weeks. So I'm really, because the one thing that I've learned throughout this whole journey is to love yourself first. You have to love yourself first in order to love others. And you cannot, and this is the problem that I see out there on social media a lot. So let's say there's a woman who just got out of a relationship, a broken relationship. They're immediately looking to jump into a new relationship. That can't happen unless you heal.
Yeah, you can't go from one. Yeah.
Right. You can't go from one to the other, to the other, to the other. And that's a huge mistake. So that's something that I haven't done. I've worked on myself, and I still continue to work on myself.
Got a couple comments. I'll show them to you.
Oh,
Do you know
this? Oh, hi.
Do you know this person?
No, I don't.
Oh,
no.
Well, that's good. So you're reaching people.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Here's somebody that their name didn't show, but they did say this. Thank you for sharing. I'm in the first 90 days. Yeah.
Wow, in the first 90 days. Okay.
And you remember that very vividly, don't you?
Oh, I do. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Listen, it's not easy. Trust me, it is not easy. But, it's all about, for myself, it was all about working on myself and working on my mindset.
If somebody is at the bottom, I suppose, and they want to get out of it, and they know about you, they've heard about you, what is your onboarding process like? What is that, without revealing too many details, I suppose, but what is that initial conversation like when somebody reaches out to you?
Well, when someone reaches out to me, I would want to have a conversation with them. Now it either can be on phone or on Zoom. So because this is a very particular niche, and this person is probably in a very raw state, they need encouragement and love and support.
Right.
So they can reach out to me by, booking a call with me, and we either do a Zoom call or we talk on the phone. What I'd like to do is a Zoom call face to face, so I can get to know the person better.
Okay. They can reach you. People can reach you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Under your name, Angeline Constantinou. I got it right again, didn't I?
You got it right again. Yes.
I like to. I pride myself on that.
Yeah.
But you also have a website. What's the website address?
Oh, yes. It is www.letsbreakthesilence.com.
That's easy. Letsbreakthesilence.com.
Yes, correct. And there you will find my podcast. You will find, interviews that I've done. You will also find a link that says book now. That means
book now. Okay.
Right, correct. So they can book a call with me. I offer a free VIP coaching session. So if they want to book a call with me, they can book a call with me.
Letsbreakthesilence.com.
Right. Okay. And that also has all my social media links.
Oh, good. So where are you? I know you're on Facebook. I know you're on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Are you other places too? Now you did TikTok. Tell me about, now TikTok is something that I'm on, but I just haven't, I don't know. I'm just not done something right. Well, I'll be following you on there. But tell me, what are you doing on there to garner all you said you had like 5,500 followers on TikTok?
I think I have over 5,100. I last checked this morning. So I started TikTok in May of this year because my goal was because there's a lot of domestic abuse survivors who are on TikTok. There's a lot of coaches and podcasters that are on TikTok. So I wanted to expand my reach. I wanted to expand my market because there's only so much you could do on Facebook. And I do have a very good following on Facebook. I have, I think, almost 10,000 followers on Facebook. On Instagram, I have 2,000 followers, and I love Instagram and everything, but TikTok is a whole new world for me TikTok has been a blessing in my life. And I took a 5-day challenge with, her name is Kenya Kelly. So she teaches coaches, podcasters, and entrepreneurs how to monetize their podcast, or how to monetize their TikTok. So yeah, so that's the reason that I got on TikTok. But I can tell you this, I've checked the stats on TikTok. So my market is 65% female and 35% male. I just checked statistics the other day, and my following is growing and growing. I've connected with a lot of great women. You know, some of them, a lot of them have gone through, you know, domestic abuse, or they've gone through some sort of abuse. It could be sexual assault or whatever it is. And I've also connected with coaches as well. Because I can, you know, learn from coaches. But there's not a day that goes by that I see videos of someone going through narcissistic abuse.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like when I first got on TikTok, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this now?
It must take a lot.
And I have a really good following of staunch supporters, male and female, who support my cause. So
it must be hard for somebody to get on there and start talking about that stuff.
Oh, it's not easy. It's not easy.
I've never had to deal with it personally, but I just can't imagine the trauma and what's going on in your head. And to pick up a phone or get on a camera and go, you know, do a TikTok thing or any kind of social media presence, it's got to be traumatic all by itself, just doing that, I'm sure.
Exactly. It is traumatic. Yes, absolutely. But there's hope. You know, the one message that I can give out there to everyone who is watching today, there's hope. Okay, someone is scrolling on social media. They're looking for hope. And I know that, you know, one of my mentors shared with me, he says, you have to share your story and be vulnerable, raw, and real. Go on Facebook Live and tell your story. So guess what I did? I shared my story 2 years ago, and it went viral.
Wow.
People are looking for hope. They're scrolling, just like I did. When I first got on social media 11 years ago, I was looking for hope. I was looking for an outlet.
And you found it.
And I found it. And now TikTok has changed my life. It really has changed my life. I just feel so blessed. I still love all my Facebook friends.
A lot of people hate on TikTok, and
That's
they say
true. That's
and
true.
they say it's owned by the Chinese and they're spying on you and all this other stuff. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the fact that it's young people and everybody, all ages, expressing themselves, saying things, and I think it's a great place, to be honest with you.
I agree.
And it sounds like it's been very good to you. I haven't caught on yet for some reason. I need to spend more time on it myself.
You know what? I would spend more time on it. And I spent a lot of time on the For You page.
Okay.
You get a lot of ideas. There's trends. So, you know, and I have.
She's a marketer too, by the way.
Yes, I have a marketer too, by the way. So.
Okay. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about marketing. What exactly people come to you with say they're an entrepreneur and they've just started or they're stuck and they want to get going, and they can come to you to get them going on.
I can help them, you know, with tools to start a business.
Okay.
So I'm part of a company that that is growing, that has been around, I think, for 3 years. And I'm a founding member and I'm an investor also. So, and they're doing very well, which I'm very happy to see, but I see great things happening with them. They offer a variety of services, but one of them is to help you scale your business. And that's huge for me, because that's what and how I got involved was I was listening to Les Brown. A friend of mine invited me to it was a 5-day challenge. They were doing 5-day challenges last year in December. So the next thing you know, I was watching Les Brown. speak.
Les Brown.
Yeah, he's a motivational speaker.
Yes, I've heard. I have heard of him. I'm confused when I hear Les Brown because he was a big band leader too. I remember that name from
Yeah,
the
and Les
30s.
Brown, yeah, he, has his own company now. And actually, one of his people reached out to me 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, she sits on the Wealth Advisory Board. So I almost fell off the chair. I'm like,
You've
all
made it. You've made it when that stuff happens. When that kind of stuff happens, you've made
right.
it. You,
Exactly,
you
exactly.
know you're having an
Following
impact.
Les Brown for 10 years.
Hmm.
And I remember one of his famous quotes: if you can lie down on your back and you can look up, you can get up.
There's the ceiling.
Right.
Well, I can't quite reach it here.
Can't reach it here, but you know what? We're climbing. We're climbing.
I need a stool, ladder.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, we could go on for a while. I want to ask you a couple of questions that don't relate to what we've talked about.
Sure.
What's your favorite movie?
Gone with the Wind.
That's an awesome choice. That was that like a 4 hour? How long is that movie?
I think that's about 4 hours.
Yeah,
but I love classic movies.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you had a time machine, such as a TARDIS from Doctor Who, or the DeLorean from Back to the Future, or some way to get back in time, and you could go back and meet a person who influenced you, who's not with us anymore, and we're not looking for famous names, who might you pick?
You know who I thought of? Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was ahead of her time on that show, on her show, wasn't she?
Exactly. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Angeline Constantinou, and I got it right the third time, too.
You got it right the third time. Thank you.
By now, I'll know it. I'll never get it wrong again, ever. It's been great to hear your story. I'm going to have you on again if you want to sometime in the future.
Sure, absolutely.
Do it again. So thank you very much for coming on and sharing that personal story. And we had a lot of viewers and listeners go in and out. The numbers have been going up and down. So people are resonating with you, and you're having an impact, and I'm glad to see that. I'm glad I was able to bring it to my audience as well. So
thank you. I'm honored, like I said.
Okay. Live long and prosper, as I like to say.
Absolutely.
And may the force be with you, and may the happiness, never mind the science fiction stuff. Just I hope everything goes well for you, and it sounds like it is. So
thank you. Yes, it is. Thank you.